We're back with News 4 at 11, and here's what's happening right now. The winter storm pummeled the tri-state. Now we are looking at freezing rain and sleet. We thank you for staying with us. I'm David Usher.
And I'm Rana Novini. This massive winter storm has impacted nearly half of the country. Thousands of flights have been canceled. The FAA even closed down LaGuardia Airport for some time tonight because of the heavy snowfall. The airport LaGuardia has since reopened. Now, the extreme cold is the next concern. We begin our team coverage with meteorologist Matt Brickman. Matt?
David, we've seen the snow fall and temperatures that have been in the teens most of the day. We've warmed up a little bit since then. We're at 22 right now, finally at a temperature when we can see the salt start to do its work and melt away the snow. But there are piles across the tri-state. We'll start south in Seaside Heights. The Jersey Shore got about a foot of snow today. EarthCam bringing us this very snowy boardwalk picture. You look farther north up into Ulster County and it is still snowing at a pretty good clip up in High Falls. That's a place where they've got close 15 inches of snow on the ground, and that number likely to grow overnight. So far, the greatest total we've seen is out in Pike County, 20 inches there, but 17 inches in Stockholm, in Sussex County, 15 inches in New Fairfield, Connecticut, and over a foot across most of Long Island. 10.6 the number in Central Park, but bigger totals around the 5 boroughs. Up in Washington Heights, almost 15 inches there. 14 in Staten Island, 13.5 in the Bronx, and a foot in Williamsburg, Queens, with about 11 inches of snow. Storm Tracker 4 still picking up a pretty decent snow band to the north and west, cutting through Pike, Sullivan, and Ulster County right now with some moderate snowfall rates. That's what we just saw with that High Falls camera, and this will add to what are already the greatest snowfall totals we've got across our area. Out through Long Island, some light snow falling there in Suffolk County, and maybe just some flurries in and around the city, but you can see that temperature has come up now. We're at 22 degrees. Temperatures will continue to rise. Yankee Stadium in the background. If I mention that pitchers and catchers report in 18 days, hopefully that provides some comfort as we go through this cold stretch. Bitter days ahead, guys. We'll talk about when we'll get a chance to melt some of this snow in your 10-day forecast coming up.
Every day we're closer to spring, right?
That's right.
Matt, thank you so much. We want to get a look at the conditions across the city. Let's check back in with News 4's Andrew Siff, who is live in Jackson Heights, Queens, with a look there. Hi, Andrew.
Hey, Rana, how you doing? Well, right now I'm standing on a sidewalk where a guy went over it and over it and over it with salt and a shovel all night long, but just a few feet away, you can see the type of pile that built up with the plows passing across 82nd Street. This is mighty deep snow over here. And all night long, we're going to show you some video. One of the top topics around here, families considering the reality that tomorrow is going to be a day of remote school. This was ordered up by the mayor. You're going to hear from a little third grader and her dad and the mayor and the school's chancellor. You do it on your iPad?
No, computer.
On your computer?
Yeah.
You ready to do that tomorrow?
Yeah.
Remote school is good.
Remote school is good?
Yeah, but only for tomorrow.
Only for one day?
Yeah.
I know what this means for students. That's why I've invited them to pelt me in the face with a snowball. However, New York City also operates in accordance with state law where we have to have 180 days of instruction.
And over the last several months, our educators have been setting up virtual classrooms, and our IT team has been testing the system to ensure our students will be able to log in. Teachers and administrators, we've got this.
We've got this. Those are the words from the city's new schools chancellor, Kamar Samuels. You will recall that about 2 years ago in early 2024, under the Adams administration, they tried a remote school day, and there was a big freeze up. Everyone tried to log in at the same time. It didn't work. And then the city has now spent about the last 2 years trying to build enough computer infrastructure so that this can work. Tomorrow's a big test for that as well. That's the latest. Reporting live in Jackson Heights, Andrew Siff, News 4 New York.
Certainly many parents remember that well, Andrew. Thank you. We'll be looking for that test tomorrow. Ida Siegel has seen a lot of the challenges this storm has presented throughout the day during her coverage. She is now live in Washington Heights. Ida?
Hey, David, when we last spoke to you about an hour ago, there was no precipitation whatsoever. Now that has changed again. We're seeing some light sleet, but still sleet coming down nonetheless. So the storm is clearly still with us. I want to show you West 177th Street. This is a secondary road, and it's been plowed pretty nicely. We're seeing some of the blacktop on the road there, and we're seeing some more cars come through. That said, the roads are still touch and go depending on where you're driving. Take a look at some video we shot of the neighborhood here in Washington Heights a little bit earlier this evening. The plows were coming through and the people were shoveling the sidewalks. Lots of salt, lots of shoveling happening. That said, there were still many other folks who were out on the streets trying to get where they needed to go, including delivery guys on their bicycles making food deliveries. We saw at least half a dozen of those guys out and about in Washington Heights tonight. Man, they were really braving the elements out there to get people their food. You got to hope that those folks gave them some really nice, healthy tips there. We also spoke to some shovelers who are trying their best against tough odds. Take a listen.
It's not done yet. Yeah, absolutely. I've shoveled like 3 times now today. The check cashing across the street. And yeah, it's coming down inch by inch.
And so you're going to be shoveling even more tonight?
Probably tonight and then in the morning as well.
So back here live on 177th Street, it looks like, people are winding down. The neighborhood is winding down. We're hoping that the storm is winding down, and it appears to be doing so. So we are at the tail end of a very, very long day. Reporting live from Washington Heights, Ida Siegel, News 4, New York.
Okay, Ida, thank you. There are special elections scheduled early next month in Manhattan and Queens for a couple of legislative seats. Early voting was set to begin today and tomorrow, but that's been suspended now because of the storm. The elections will fill seats vacated by Mayor Zohran Mamdani in the 36th Assembly District in Queens and Manhattan Borough President Brad Hoylman-Siegel in the 47th District in Manhattan, and City Council Member Harvey Epstein in the Assembly District 74 in Manhattan. So Governor Hochul says the state will work with the city's Board of Election to extend hours for the rest of the early voting period to make up for those lost hours today and tomorrow. Election Day is scheduled for February 3rd.
NJ Transit is slowly going to resume service tomorrow. The agency says it's going to open back up in phases, starting with all 3 light rail lines, the Newark Light Rail, Hudson Bergen Light Rail, and River Line. However, it's not clear exactly when that will happen, and they say it could be after what's the traditional morning rush. Bus and Access Link service, as well as commuter rail service, are still suspended. Crews will be accessing the lines tonight, assessing them through the morning, gradually planning to reopen those lines once they are deemed safe. NJ Transit is aiming for commuter rails and buses to begin running late in the morning or in the afternoon. But of course, commuters should check the NJ Transit app for the latest updates. A big concern for people if they have to be at work tomorrow. All right, we have News 4's Sarah Wallace standing by live in Fort Lee, New Jersey, with a look at the conditions there tonight. Sarah.
Well, Rana and David, I'm going to echo what Ida was saying earlier. About an hour ago, the precipitation had stopped. It is now starting again. It is sleeting. These freezing temperatures and the mounds of snow that you see behind me are making for a very dangerous combination tonight. The piled up snow on this off-ramp along Route 17 ensnaring this black sedan. As a good Samaritan in a red Jeep tried to help, so did arriving Paramus police.
You guys seen a lot of this? What do you guys see?
Yeah, a bunch of people have been getting stuck all day, and they just kind of chain them up and get them off the roadway. Yeah.
Non-stop all day.
Non-stop.
Yep.
Nearby, another helping hand. Abel stuck on an on-ramp trying to get to his job.
I had to go in for work. It was mandatory. That's why. Kid got stuck. Where's your toe?
This private plow driver springing into action with his tow chain. A few pulls later, and success. Abel able to get to work.
Good job!
Speaking of work, we talked to this tow truck driver just heading home from a long shift.
I've been out since 3 a.m., so now I'm heading home.
How would you describe it?
Rough. Road-wise, horrible. Plows are doing the best that they can, but it's not cutting it, and they can't drop salt right now, so it's just horrible. Stay home.
The good news is that most kids will be able to stay home tomorrow because most school districts are closed, and the governor gently suggesting that private employers allow their workers to work remotely tomorrow. Hope a lot of people do get to stay home because these conditions are absolutely horrendous out here tonight, and they are going to be icy and slippery tomorrow. Live from Fort Lee, Sarah Wallace, News 4 New York.
Okay, Sarah, thank you. North of the city, they had high snow totals. Linda Vaquero's in White Plains to update us. Linda?
And David, finally, the weather is starting to let up. We've got a very, very light precip right now at this hour, and that means that for tomorrow, Beeline buses in Westchester will resume at 10 a.m., but you can expect delays as we recover from this storm. Tonight, the only folks who were brave enough to head outside were on a mission, some to make a quick grocery run, all of them to get home as quickly as possible. Along many streets in White Plains, you'll find big banks of snow as a busy fleet of plow trucks try to maintain the roads despite the steady, intense snowfall all day. Ice is starting to form, which will be a problem, raising the risk of power outages. Here's a look at North and South Broadway in White Plains tonight. The roads are filled with some ice, slippery and dangerous, even though there are plenty of plows and salt trucks out. At O'Connor's Public House, bartender Randy Lavello hopes that the road conditions will be better tonight leaving the pub than when he came in. And with many Westchester schools closed tomorrow, he's among those parents who are planning ahead.
I expect White Plains High School to be a very popular destination for sledding, and my kids will be definitely enjoying themselves.
It's a lot of snow. We're going to try to go snowboarding tomorrow, hopefully, if we don't have work.
And with temperatures below freezing all week, I like Janice's term when she said it was wicked cold. It will certainly be that way all week. So make sure to check on your neighbors, especially seniors. And if you do head out tomorrow, wear plenty of layers. I've got 3 layers today myself. Protect your head also and your hands and your feet to try to prevent frostbite. After all, the feel-like temperatures this week in Westchester will range from 3 below to 21 below zero. So be careful. Stay bundled up. Live in White Plains, Linda Vaquero, News 4 New York. Back to you.
Yeah, nothing to mess with. Linda, thank you for that look. We want to take a look at conditions on Long Island now. We have Greg Sergel, who's been keeping an eye on things. He joins us now live in Syosset. Hi, Greg.
Hey, Rana. Behind me, you see the big pile of snow here in Syosset. But the reality is, with roughly a foot of snow on the ground today, this is not the most snow that Long Islanders have ever faced. But local officials said today that this storm was different. The combination of the snow, the cold temperatures, and then the freezing rain really presented some unique challenges that set back road crews as they tried all day to clean up the mess. The work is continuing, obviously, tonight, even as some use social media to complain about plowing activities in their communities. Earlier today, Suffolk police report about 6 traffic accidents because of the snow, and there were also drivers who got stuck, including a couple that we came across in Bethpage whose car was stranded in a snowdrift right in the middle of the roadway. With the help of a Good Samaritan and our News 4 crew, we were able to dig those folks out, and they went on their way. But drivers tomorrow morning and beyond could face similar challenges if they take to the roadways.
It's going to be a little longer to get the roads as dry as we would like them to be, but our people are out there working very, very hard.
They're doing the best they can. I see the plows, but my goodness, it's hard getting the ice up.
Now, Nassau's county executive told us earlier today the cleanup here could last for several days. The good news is many Long Island schools have already decided to close for tomorrow, and some towns on Long Island have even canceled their garbage pickup. We're in Syosset. Greg Sergel, News 4 New York.
Greg, thank you. In Washington, D.C., people made the most of a snow day by heading to Capitol Hill. This as crews work to clear snow from the U.S. Capitol building, the Supreme Court, and other federal buildings. The landmarks made for quite the backdrop for kids and teens to play outside. Residents who took their kids out didn't seem to be worried about the so-called snowpocalypse. They enjoyed the day. One parent said the conditions were just right, and it was fun to sled down hills on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, making memories there. All right, we have Bruce Beck joining us now in studio. We've been talking about the snow here all day, but some big football news as well.
Hey, we played some football.
Sure did.
Super Bowl 60 is set. The Seahawks and Patriots in Santa Clara. We've seen this matchup before in the big game, but this one is very different. Coming up in sports, former Jets quarterback Sam Darnold puts on a show in the NFC Championship game. We've got all the highlights from two compelling title games in a moment.
The Tri-State slammed. Closing in on a foot of snow. The area's biggest storm in years. Storm Team 4 keeping you informed with more than 12 hours of team coverage on TV and streaming on every platform. Stay with News 4 New York for continuing coverage. Closed captioning provided by Toyota. Let's go places.
Welcome to Paradise, Valencia Grand, Florida's premium 55-plus living by GL Homes. Live in ultimate luxury with supreme amenities and the latest home designs from $1.1 to $2.5 million. Elevate your life. Valencia Grand in Boynton Beach, a prime South Florida location. Now selling our gorgeous, fully furnished, decorated models. Hurry in. Plan your visit today at explorevalencia.com.
At Village Care Max, we take a personal approach in arranging the best quality healthcare options for you.
Living in New York City can be challenging, but my care manager is there to make sure I'm living in a safe and comfortable environment by receiving services and benefits that go beyond my normal Medicare coverage. Village Care keeps me healthy and ready to take on the world.
Village Care Max. See what's possible when healthcare gets personal. For more information, call us or visit villagecaremax.org.
My husband and I was in a ride share. The driver wasn't paying attention and he hit the vehicles in the front of him. I had to have a surgery where they had to go to the front of my neck to get to the back with 3 plates in my neck. I was out of work, didn't know how I was gonna pay anything. We called Morgan & Morgan and they did not fail us. I really appreciate you because if it wasn't for you guys, I don't know where I would be right now. Thank you so much. I'm sorry.
Do you want free internet? Forever? You got it. Really. We mean it. Spectrum is offering free fiber-powered internet forever. Want it? Just call this number and switch 4 mobile lines to Spectrum for a lifetime of internet you never pay for. It's not a trial. It's an unprecedented offer. So we'll say it again. Free fiber-powered internet forever. Have you called yet? Because your internet is forever. But this ad ends now.
The Spectrum Sports Desk is presented by Spectrum. It's internet, mobile, and streaming TV all from one place. It's only everything.
Bruce, we hope people joined us for our coverage, but they also had a couple of games that they had to check in on.
No, they watched you guys plenty. Yep. Super Bowl 60 is exactly 2 weeks away. And after a long season and 2 thrilling games today, we finally have a matchup. Let's start with the NFC Championship game. And it was a battle of the West with the Seahawks hosting the Rams. The game turned in the blink of an eye early in the third quarter, leading 17-13. The Seahawks punted away, and Xavier Smith loses his balance as he backpedals and muffs it. And Derek Young pounces on it for Seattle. Sure enough, on the very next play, Sam Darnold hits Jake Bobo from 17 yards out to make it a 24-13 ball game. Now, leading 24-20 late in the third, Darnold finds Cooper Kupp, who splits 3 defenders and lunges into the end zone. Darnold was fantastic with 346 yards through the air and 3 touchdowns. Still, it came down to this, trailing by 4 late in the fourth. The Rams go for it on 4th down. And Devin Witherspoon breaks up the pass in the back of the end zone. 31-27, the final. Seattle is moving on to the Super Bowl.
I'm happy to be a part of this team, man. This group and this coaching staff is just, I'm really happy to be here. Happy to be in this position. I'm just going to continue to do the best that I can to put this team in positions to win football games. We're going to celebrate tonight. We're going to celebrate tomorrow in the meeting, and then we're going to move on, and everyone's going to look to see how they can get better for this game coming up in a couple weeks.
Now to the AFC, the Patriots traveling to Denver to take on the Broncos, who badly missed their injured quarterback, Bo Nix. Denver led 7-0 in the second quarter when backup Jarrett Stidham makes a costly mistake. This play was ultimately ruled a backwards pass and fumble, and it gave the Patriots the ball deep in Broncos territory. It led to a 6-yard rushing touchdown for quarterback Drake May, and just like that, it was tied at 7 at intermission. Then the snow came, and chaos ensued. Down 10-7, Broncos kicker Will Lutz misses a field goal attempt from 45 yards away. The Patriots actually got a piece of the football, and head coach Mike Vrabel loved it. Stidham just could not throw the ball in the poor conditions. Late in the fourth, he gets picked off by Christian Gonzalez, and May sealed the game with his feet. This great scramble by the second-year quarterback capped a 10-7 Patriots victory. They are going to the Super Bowl for a record 12th time in team history.
You get everybody to believe in something and buy in, and again, that doesn't come without adversity. You have to have adversity. But I do this for the players. I've been in their position. I've been there. And it's amazing. And I want other people to feel that feeling.
What a coach. Now to the NBA, the Nets visiting James Harden and the Clippers. And it was ugly early. Early in the second quarter, Kawhi Leonard connects on back-to-back trifectas to give LA a 47-14 lead. Yes, I said 47-14. It wasn't much of a game from there as the Nets get blown out 126-89. On the ice, the Devils were out in Seattle. It was tied at 1 in the third period when Matty Beniers beats Jacob Markstrom on a gorgeous backhander. The Kraken take the lead for good as they go on to win it 4-2. New Jersey's 3-game road winning streak comes to an end. Coming up tonight on Sports Final at midnight, we'll take our first look at the Super Bowl 60 matchup. John Jastrzemski joins me to break down the Seahawks against the Patriots. We'll talk baseball, Knicks, and much more. So we'll see you at midnight.
All right, Bruce.
Game in the snow. That was a little bit of a compilation of the day.
It really was.
Two great games, Bruce. Thank you.
All right. The end of the snow falling doesn't mean that we are out of the woods with tough conditions. Coming up, we'll go to Hell's Kitchen for an update on the roads and what's expected tomorrow morning.
Plus, the snow didn't stop tourists, New Yorkers, from venturing out into Times Square. We have another live report from Midtown after this break.
And let's give you another live look outside. I was mesmerized by it. Storm Team 4 back with your 10-day forecast next.
Storm coverage continues on Today in New York starting at 4 a.m. with live team coverage. From school closings to the cleanup. Plus, meteorologist Maria LaRosa is tracking dangerously cold temperatures for the week ahead. Wake up with Today in New York starting early, Monday at 4 a.m.
It was absolutely amazingly divine.
I thought I was going to heaven.
Breathtaking. It is absolutely stunning.
I feel better about the world. I feel uplifted.
I have never seen a production any better than this, anywhere.
This has just been therapy for the soul.
It's a must-see, must-see.
Make sure you see it. Make sure you see it.
Returns to Lincoln Center, March 25th through April 12th. Get your tickets now at shenyun.com.
Thinking of updating my kitchen. Thinking of redoing our kitchen. We are finally updating our kitchen.
For all those people who never seem to get around to
Breakfast
it,
note.
Chase has financial guidance.
See how you can start saving. Really?
Really? At home or in person. That's guidance from Chase. If you have moderate to severe eczema, Dupixent can help you feel the heal. Some adults saw fast itch relief after first dose and long-lasting clearer skin at 1 year. Severe allergic reactions, including skin reactions, can occur. Get help right away for face, mouth, tongue, or throat swelling, wheezing, or trouble breathing. Tell your doctor of new or worsening eye problems like eye pain or vision changes, skin symptoms, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop other treatments without talking to your doctor. Ask your doctor about Dupixent.
If you go to a flooring store or big home warehouse to buy flooring, your installation could take 6 weeks or more. And that's not right. At National Floors Direct, we install flooring the next day, the way it should be. Call 888-400-FLOOR. We bring the store to your door.
Not all F words are bad. Some are great, like fast, free, fiber for 4 months. Switch to Optimum Fiber for as low as $25 a month. Plus, you can get 4 months free, HBO Max included for 1 full year, and a 5-year price lock. Experience the fastest, most reliable, and most consistent internet speeds. Get Optimum Fiber Internet now for just $25 a month. Call 888-4-OPTIMUM or visit optimum.com/free today.
The city that never sleeps is living up to its name, at least in one spot. We've seen people out in Times Square quieting down tonight, but earlier they were breaking out in snowball fights, even some making snow angels.
And one of those people making snow angels, our own Erica Byfield, who admits it was fun. Hey, Erica.
I know, I still can't believe that I did that. Yes, Times Square, it's a little bit quieter now, but there are still people out. If you look over my shoulder, you can see people still standing up on the podiums, taking their little iconic selfies. Oh, other tourists waving at us. A lot of people out today. Where are you guys from? In England. Okay. We've met so many people today from Europe. You want to come over for a second? Tell me.
We're going to fly home tomorrow, but you never know. We might be lucky and get to stay.
Another snow day. That is what a lot of people are telling us, at least that we ran into here. Most of them were planning on either flying out today or tomorrow. And now, as you can see, they think they might get an extra day here in New York City at Times Square. Take a look at some of this video we shot earlier today. It was absolutely buzzing with the number of people around here. Of course, this is a place just to come in and just take in the sights because the snow is falling, and it's just so pretty when it happens to do that. We saw a lot of people taking pictures, dancing, snowball fights, as you mentioned, me doing my own snow angel, and we saw a lot of people kind of just being around one another and having fun. One guy brought out a boom box and invited people to dance with him. A number of other people decided to be down here because they were going to take in some Broadway shows, and we even met a young man who kind of broke my heart because I asked him if he was happy that it was snowing, and he told me no. Here's what he had to say.
I was supposed to have my performance in Carnegie Hall today, but it got canceled due to the weather. I was doing the violin.
What do you think about being in New York today, seeing all the snow? What are you telling your mom about it?
It's kind of cool, though it's also sad.
Yeah, super cool. So his performance, as he mentioned, was canceled today, but he did tell me he gets to come back to New York City in March, and he gets to perform then. And then he also mentioned that will be his 5th time in New York City, so that must be quite an impressive young man who plays the violin. A lot of people obviously have different stories, different reasons to come here to Times Square, but everybody who was here, including myself, took a photo to mark the time we were here when all of the snow also appeared. We'll send it back to you.
Okay, Erica, thank you. And hopefully in March, he will be at Carnegie Hall. Thank you. Charles Watson is not at Carnegie Hall. He's in Woodbridge, New Jersey, where he's been bringing us great coverage all day. Charles, how are things looking now?
Well, David, things are looking really good here in Woodbridge. I'm actually really surprised. I mentioned this the last hour, and maybe I'm a little too excited about this, but look. At the ground, you can see the blacktop, and I'm focusing on this so much because all day long we were talking about how we could not see the blacktop and how the ground was, covered with packed snow and ice. It was really making for very slick and slippery conditions out there on the roadways for cars. That doesn't seem to be the case out in here in Woodbridge anymore, which is pretty surprising because when we got here a few hours ago, this street, Main Street, it was plowed, but there was a layer of snow and ice on the ground. And, you know, I didn't expect it to disappear quite so quickly. But once the precipitation, the snow and freezing rain stopped, we saw those plow trucks come through here once again and just sort of pick up every morsel of snow and ice off the ground. And then we've also seen those salt operators start to come down these streets once again. Now that you can see the blacktop a little earlier in the day, you know, we had heard from some county officials that, you know, the salting operations sort of were on pause because of the snow and ice on the ground and the temperatures that we're currently still dealing with. But now that is all gone, the salt is being spread on the ground again, so all of this precipitation that we have here doesn't freeze overnight. A little earlier today, I showed you some of the tertiary and secondary streets once you get in the neighborhoods. This street, just a couple of hours ago, was covered with snow, but as you can see, you know, these crews continue to be out here working very hard. That street is all cleared right now. I can tell you what does continue to be a big problem out here are the sidewalks, right? You've got a lot of snow that was plowed and pushed over, so cars can make it down the street safely. But, you know, on the sidewalks, it's still snow covered, so that's making for a pretty, you know, treacherous walk for folks who are out in the elements. There have been people out, we've noticed in the last few hours or so, who have come out to shovel, who have come out with snow blowers to try to clear a path for people, but this seems like this will be the big problem, certainly when you start looking ahead to Monday and the morning commute, and the fact that we're dealing with those very cold temperatures overnight. Some of this snow could freeze, could make for a very dicey, you know, commute for folks in the morning time, but that is something that will have to be dealt with in the morning. Folks in this neighborhood, though, they've been telling me that this storm certainly lived up to the hype. You know, they got the snowfall that all the experts told us that they were getting. And, you know, despite all the snow out here and the treacherous conditions, you know, there were folks out here who wanted to come out and get a look at it. We spoke to one gentleman a little earlier who tells us that his dog just could not wait inside any longer, so he came out in the elements to make sure that his dog got his daily walk, and he was all happy about that. Take a listen.
So your dog just couldn't wait for that walk, huh?
Yeah, I had to walk, man. I had to walk through this. I had no choice. I can't just let him go in the house, so I had to come out here. But it's not too bad as earlier. I walked him earlier, and this is way worse.
All right, and you know, good news now. They've got they've got better conditions. You know, again, they may have to avoid the sidewalk for a little bit longer, but things seem to be coming along pretty well here in Woodbridge. Monday, no school for the kids. They have a snow day, so they can take that day for the fun. And as far as the adults, they may have to go to work. Who knows? It may be a remote day, or they may start a little late, but they can, you know, start to focus their time on this cleanup that is already in place. For now, we're live in Woodbridge. We'll send it back to you all in the studio.
Encouraging to see the improvement on the roads there tonight. Charles, thank you for your reporting tonight. All right, if you're getting ready to shovel, maybe you've been doing this throughout the day. Of course, safety is a top priority. And
earlier this afternoon, Governor Hochul, who is, after all, from Buffalo and knows a thing or two about snow, gave some tips on how to shovel safely.
Do not bend over to shovel. You bend down your knees. You want to bend down so you can protect your back. Also, you don't have to have a high amount of snow on the shovel. I'll give you a demonstration outside if you want. But neighbors of mine have had heart attacks from shoveling too much snow. It's better to take multiple smaller bites at it, lift smaller amounts of snow, toss it aside, but do not try to go for the big, massive shovel full of snow, because regardless of your health, this could be cause a heart attack or a cardiac attack as well.
Yeah, important thing to remember, and I guess we'll have to deal with this for the next few days.
Yeah, the snow is not going to melt anytime soon, so you'll have to clear it one way or another. This has been an interesting storm. We had the light, fluffy snow early, then that transitioned to sleet. And I heard some of our reporters talking about freezing rain, the chance for some icing. That had not happened until the last hour. Now we are starting to see freezing rain reports roll in, and that is going to create new concerns that we had not to deal with at all earlier today. And I'll show you what the ice is already beginning to do. This is our Rockefeller Plaza camera right now. It's iced over. That is a layer of ice that's developed there, and plenty of spots showing the same thing. Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, all icing over here. Okay for the moment in the Bronx, but we are getting lots of reports now of freezing rain, and it's so light, it's not even showing up on radar. The moisture is that fine that the radar isn't picking it up. But these are all freezing rain reports that have come in within the last hour, including in Central Park. You're seeing it in White Plains. You're seeing it up into Fairfield County. You're seeing it out towards Caldwell as well. And what that ice is going to do is create a thin glaze on the sidewalk. A lot of those roads and things that have been cleared already, that will now turn to ice. So if you see a wet road, a wet sidewalk ahead of you, know that there is likely ice down. Temperatures are still plenty cold, 22 degrees right now, so that layer of ice certainly isn't going anywhere. This is how the day has gone, really. We've gone left to right here. We started with that snow earlier in the morning, and then as the hours went on and we got into the afternoon, a thin layer of warm air started to develop higher up in the atmosphere. So what started as a snowflake at the cloud level melted to a raindrop and then froze on the way down. That became an ice pellet. We saw sleet and several inches of sleet for hours this afternoon and evening. And then just in the last hour, that layer of warm air has become deep enough that what's falling as a snowflake melting to a raindrop stays as a raindrop all the way until it reaches the ground where there's just a very thin layer of cold air. The raindrop hits, freezes on contact, and that's where we get ice. And that is just starting to show up, and it's going to make for dangerous driving, as if roads weren't bad enough with the snow compacted and the sleet. Now we are adding the layer of freezing rain on top of that. The good news here is that the totals of this freezing rain will be very light. So as far as downed tree branches, power outages, I don't think we're going to see that because there's just not enough moisture. We're not going to see freezing rain for long enough to bring on those sorts of concerns, but slick surfaces absolutely is something we need to be watching closely throughout the night, as temperatures will remain well below freezing. Give you a look at the radar right now. We do have still a couple of spots where we're seeing bands of snow pushing through. Eastern half of Suffolk County, you've got light snow falling there. Moderate snow still up north. Ulster, Dutchess, Sullivan County, even out towards Western Pike, you've got bands of snow that might be producing close to a ½ inch of snowfall an hour. And I'll give you a look in some of the spots that are still seeing snow. This is in Westchester, in Somers, where they've had about 1.5 feet of snow already. The air super cold there, only 12 degrees. And you can see those streaks of snow passing in front of the camera. Up in Dutchess County, plenty cold there. In Beacon, 12 degrees there as the snow continues to fly. And in Otisville, 14 degrees, still seeing some light snow falling there as well. The winter storm warning, not just for snow, it's for the sleet, it's for the freezing rain that we're seeing now as well. And just to speak on that sleet for a minute, I called the National Weather Service earlier because we saw the snow total in Central Park go from 8.8 inches at 4:30 to 10.6 at 7 o'clock. And I said, hey guys, it's been sleeting all afternoon. Is that additional nearly 2 inches of accumulation just ice? And they said, yeah. This is one of the bigger sleet events that they can remember seeing in this area. So yes, a ton of snow, a lot of ice, and now we're getting freezing rain as well. And to see what is left of this storm and maybe when things might finally warm up. Let's go ahead and check in with Janice Huff for our continuing coverage.
Hey there, Matt. Yeah, we do have a little bit left over, and you mentioned that ice, and that doesn't help things much at all. It will not accumulate to large amounts, no, but some light icing possible. And there could even be a little bit of snow that comes through overnight and into tomorrow morning in some spots that could add up to another 1 to 3 inches, mainly north and outside of New York City. But the totals that we have at this point, mainly snow, but also some ice on top of that. The larger amounts, we do have some 18 to 20 amounts totals that are over the Pike County in northern New Jersey, Sussex County, over through Orange County, parts of Rockland County, northern Westchester, and Putnam counties, and even a little portion of Fairfield County. There's that line of that 18 plus inches of snow that we've seen from the storm. 12 to 18 in the middle, and the city does fall into that. And then along the shore areas, 8 to 12, which was extremely impressive because we had the shore areas mainly in the 5 to 8 inch range. But you got quite a bit more snow and ice to go with that down at the shore. And now things are starting to wind down. Here's a look at that same graphic on how much more we could get tonight. Not a whole lot. On the hour by hour, you can see there's still some light snow showers in the Hudson Valley around 4:30 in the morning. Most other areas are dry, but a few more patches may show up or just kind of hang around through 11 o'clock on tomorrow morning, especially across Connecticut and across the East End as well. We're still cloudy in the city, but the clouds do break up before the sun sets, so you might get a peak of sun tomorrow. It's too bad it's not enough sun to warm things up around here because it stays brutally cold for the next several days. So tomorrow's high is 28, but by Tuesday we drop to 21 for the daytime high. Another blast of Arctic air is waiting in the wings to come in here and sort of set up shop. So all the ice and snow from today's storm is going to stick around for quite some time. Winter storm warnings remain in effect for the entire Northeast and parts of the Ohio Valley tonight. Look at the extreme cold warnings that stretch from the Midwest down to the Gulf Coast. Temperatures are going to be quite cold across those areas. Even a freeze watch for South Georgia and northern and central Florida. It's been warm down there, but not much longer. 73 degrees right now in Orlando. Compare that to 35 below. That's what it feels like in Fargo, North Dakota. So that's some of the cold air that's swinging south and to the east over the next 24 hours. So let's track our feels like temperatures. By tomorrow morning, it'll feel like single digits and teens around the tri-state, about the same most of the day on Monday. And then comes the Arctic blast, where the wind chills will drop below 0 by Tuesday morning everywhere. And going throughout the day, barely feeling like it's 2 degrees in the city and Bridgeport. In the afternoon on Tuesday, 6 will be the wind chill in Point Pleasant Beach. And off to the north and west, we do it again on Wednesday morning. But double-digit below 0 wind chills from Poughkeepsie to Monticello to Sussex, New Jersey. And yet, it's going to stick with us as we watch the temperatures profile and what it's going to feel like right next to it. It's going to be brutally cold going all the way into the weekend around here. Sunny skies, though. Our temperature profile doesn't really show much of a change until we get to maybe Monday of next week, but it's still below freezing. So the below average temperatures will continue in the east, but not out west. So tonight down into the teens and 20s. Tomorrow, a little bit of light snow or ice in the morning. Temperatures will be in the 20s to near 30, and then about 5 to 10 degrees colder on Tuesday. Here's our exclusive 10-day forecast. At least it'll be sunny for the next almost 10 days, but it stays bitterly cold until probably another week and a half. Back to you.
Okay, good to know, Janice. Thank you. And Janice and Matt telling us about these icy conditions. It's going to make for a slippery commute tomorrow if you have to head out. News 4's Axel Tercios has a look at the conditions right now in Hell's Kitchen. Axel.
Right now, we started our day very early in Brooklyn today. Now we have made it to Manhattan. We are in Hell's Kitchen, and it is a little bit quieter right now. We are barely seeing cars on the road. We saw some people walking, kind of struggling on top of all the snow that has accumulated, people that might be leaving businesses here. This is 9th Avenue in Hell's Kitchen. This is an area that is usually very busy with businesses, restaurants, and bars. cars. But what I can tell you while driving through Hell's Kitchen is that one of the biggest challenges for residents in this area who own cars, I can tell you, is going to be all of this snow that has been plowed and pushed over against the cars that are parked right here, like that one you are seeing there, are covered in snow. And we have seen numerous cars just like that one covered in snow, especially here in the neighborhood of Hell's Kitchen. And I think the people who left those cars out will find it challenging in the morning if they try to get out, as all the snow plows have buried them literally in the snow. And our team also did find several people out with shovels in this neighborhood, shoveling some cars out and salting the sidewalks. And a group of men was actually helping a driver out of the snow.
Keep the tires turned. Don't turn into more so, because you're going to get more stuck. Once it gets it turned, you get a momentum. Keep going. And maybe a little push, and that'll do it. I'm from Buffalo. I know what I'm talking about.
And before we got into Manhattan, in Prospect Heights, we found a nice family that was taking a stroll out in the snow.
We had a chance to get out onto the block and see some neighbors who were out there and shovel with some people and shovel for some people. And so you don't have that every day. And it's kind of one of the little benefits of snow like this is sometimes you have to get out there and see people and connect with the people that you live with. And we had a chance to do that. Oscar did some shoveling for some folks that were on the block. So it was a great opportunity to do that.
It kind of brings the community together, right?
Yeah, in a way it does, for sure. And same thing being up at the park. You know, you see all your neighbors, kids sledding, friends, neighbors. And then back at home on the block, the few people who are intrepid enough to be outside are out there, and you get a chance to connect with them.
Rana, pretty nice to hear from neighbors right there in Prospect Heights saying that they are finding comfort and this winter storm, meeting other neighbors and kind of helping each other shovel out their cars, right, and shovel that snow from their homes. But again, I think a lot of neighbors here in the Hell's Kitchen area with their cars all covered in snow will find it challenging in the morning, especially in the rush hour. And at this hour, the traffic seems, there's barely any cars out in the streets, but that it's going to change in the morning. So let's see how that moves through the morning. And if you're driving, local officials are saying to, it takes some time in the morning to shovel out your car so you can make it on time to work. Rana.
All right, got to give yourself extra time tomorrow. Axel, thank you so much. And if you find solace in knowing you're not alone in this, we're not alone in this. The storm system that dumped all of this snow over the tri-state made a mess for more than 170 million Americans. From
the Rockies to New England, few were spared. We want to give you a look at the conditions across the country. This is what it looked like in Hamilton County in Ohio. That's the Cincinnati area. Snow totals range between 8 to 12 inches. A cold weather advisory in effect until 6 p.m. Monday. In Kentucky, they didn't get as much snow. Southeast Kentucky totals close to about 6 inches of snow.
Now to Richmond, Virginia, where one of the biggest concerns of the day has been crashes, issues on the road. Virginia State Police say they dealt with more than 300 weather-related crashes, and more than 24 of those crashes involved injuries. Crews worked to plow the roads as quickly as they could, but freezing rain, also happening there overnight, will further complicate the morning commute.
The worst of the winter storm is moving out of parts of Kentucky, as we said, but officials say the impact far from over. Louisville and the surrounding area will wake up to an Arctic blast. Wind chills expected to be -20 Monday and Tuesday. At one point, 75,000 homes were without power. Governor Andy Beshear closed all Kentucky state offices to help keep the roadways clear. While the weather was a major story across the country, there is another major developing story in Minnesota, the killing of Alex Preddy in Minneapolis. It has revived concerns about immigration enforcement officers in cities. The federal investigation may include some of the images captured by eyewitnesses, and those images appear to contradict some of what federal officials have described. NBC's Morgan Chesky has a closer look.
Tonight, new videos raising questions of what exactly happened in the lead up to Alex Preddy's death. The Trump administration now doubling down on defense of the officers involved. Federal officials saying agents acted in self-defense. The Department of Homeland Security posting that Pretty approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun.
When he did that, interacting with those agents, when they tried to get him to disengage, he became aggressive and resisted them throughout that process. These officers used their training, followed their protocols, and were in fear of their lives and the people around them. And that's how this tragedy unfolded.
At least 5 separate witness videos appear to show a different or contradicting sequence of events. Footage seen from a sidewalk, the street, inside a store, oh my God! And from a car just feet away. Videos show federal agents shoving a person with Pretty then stepping in. That's when an agent pepper sprays him in the face while Pretty clutches his phone. Seconds later, several agents wrestle Pretty to the ground, where videos do not appear to show him brandishing a weapon, as DHS had stated. This angle showing an officer swing something at Pretty's head. Pushing in on this video, you can see one agent reach behind Pretty, appearing to remove a gun from his waistband. As someone yells, "gun," that same agent appears to step away, and about a second later, the first shot is fired, followed by a flurry of gunshots.
Call an ambulance, please.
I think the key detail is, were the agents under the imminent threat of death or great bodily harm? And nowhere in that video does it show that he pointed a gun at them, brandished a gun at them. There's no piece where you can see him reaching for the gun.
Local officials say Pretty was a lawful gun owner with a permit for concealed carry. Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino asked about this earlier.
Did the officers see the weapon? Did they see him brandishing the weapon at him?
Sure. Many videos out there, many different accounts that you may see. All those minute details that will paint a true picture, not a freeze frame concept, and paint a larger picture of what really happened. That is why we investigate, so we can get to the truth, so there's not speculation.
Meanwhile, near a growing memorial in Minneapolis tonight.
What do you see when you watch those videos?
An execution, an absolute execution. Every angle shows it, and they continued to fire bullets at him while his body was lifeless on the ground.
That was NBC's Morgan Chesky reporting. Another big story we are following closer to home, the nurses' strike. Striking New York City nurses and hospitals have reached an agreement when it comes to health benefits. The strike is still continuing, though. The New York State Nurses Association made that announcement of some progress earlier today. The union, though, reiterating that the strike is not over. Contract negotiations will continue. Nearly 15,000 city nurses have been on strike since January 12th. They're demanding that the hospitals give better pay, increase staffing, and offer better protections against workplace violence.
We're coming right back, but first, Bruce will have a first look at Sports Final. Stay with us.
Coming up on Sports Final, Super Bowl 60 is set. We'll break down the matchup following Championship Sunday. Can you believe the Patriots were 4-13 1 year ago? Giants fans, are you listening? And what's better than talking a little hot stove on this snowy night in New York? John Jastrzemski of the New York podcast weighs in on everything, including the Knicks. See you at midnight, everyone.
Hey, New Jersey, it's time to get quality, affordable health insurance from Get Covered New Jersey. Plans include free preventive care, coverage for prescriptions, emergency care, and more. 8 in 10 qualify for financial help to lower costs. Free local assistance is available. Enroll now at getcovered.nj.gov.
In the special election to fill Mikey Sherrill's House seat, Tom Malinowski says he'll stand up to Trump. But hold on. In 2019, Tom Malinowski voted with Trump and the Republicans to fund ICE. More than $200 million for Trump's deportation force. $200 million that got us this? Democrats called Malinowski's vote a blank check for the Trump administration and a betrayal. We can't trust Tom Malinowski. UDP is responsible for the content of this ad.
This is the 2026 Nissan Rogue. With a 12.3-inch touch display, it's the most powerful Rogue ever. And has 225 pound-feet of torque. That's a lot of torque.
Go rogue in the 2026 Nissan Rogue. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality. Now get a low $229 per month lease. Plus, current Nissan lessees get $1,000 NMAC lease loyalty cash on Rogue.
Tastes like money. To Oliver, eating here instead of buying a stadium hot dog is like putting away $20. If Oliver sees sandwiches as a saving strategy, Wells Fargo's right behind him. And with their mobile app, tracking his savings is easy. Whoops. However you make money work, we can work with that.
Do you want free internet? Forever? You got it. Really. We mean it. Spectrum is offering free fiber-powered internet forever. Want it? Just call this number and switch 4 mobile lines to Spectrum for a lifetime of internet you never pay for. It's not a trial. It's an unprecedented offer. So we'll say it again. Free fiber-powered internet forever. Have you called yet? Because your internet is forever. But this ad ends now.
Hey, New Jersey, it's time to get quality, affordable health insurance from Get Covered New Jersey. Plans include free preventive care, coverage for prescriptions, emergency care, and more. 8 in 10 qualify for financial help to lower costs. Free local assistance is available. Enroll now at getcovered.nj.gov.
We have a reminder for commuters. NJ Transit is going to slowly resume service tomorrow. The agency opening back up in phases, starting with all 3 light rail lines, the Newark Light Rail, Hudson Bergen Light Rail, and River Line. It's not clear when those lines will open, and NJ Transit saying it could be after the morning rush. Bus and Access Link service as well as commuter rail service are still suspended. Crews will be assessing the lines tonight and into the morning, planning to gradually reopen once it's safe. NJ Transit said it is aiming for commuter rails and buses to begin running late in the morning or perhaps in the afternoon, so commuters should check NJ Transit and their app for updates.
And we want to get a sense of South Jersey, where getting around tonight was a tough feat. News 4's Ted Greenberg reports from the Jersey Shore.
Well, here in Toms River, the ground is very, very slippery and the snow is not soft anymore. You hear that? That is the crunch of a layer of ice on top of the snow that fell. Yes, we had snow, we had sleet here in this part of Ocean County, and then tonight, freezing rain. Some drivers in Lakewood spinning their wheels Sunday night, others stuck.
People got to take it easy. You know, people who don't know how to drive in the snow, stay home.
After hours of accumulating snow and sleet, some who ventured onto roads near the border of Ocean and Monmouth counties wished they hadn't.
Terrific out. It's not worth driving. I regret coming out and driving on the road as I am right now. Definitely safer stay home.
In the morning, I was up pretty early. It wasn't too bad. In the middle of the day, it also wasn't too bad. And now with this freezing rain, it's getting really bad. Extremely slippery out there. Very hard to see. Visibility is pretty low.
Earlier, an electrical substation fire in Mantoloking temporarily left some 9,000 utility customers without power during the storm. By 9 p.m., the Ocean County Sheriff's Office had gotten reports of 136 disabled vehicles and 60 accidents. People were hurt in 4 of those crashes.
You really don't have to leave. Don't leave. But everyone has to take it easy.
Yeah, definitely dicey out here. The temperatures actually rose into the mid-30s during the day in this part of Ocean County before dropping again tonight, causing everything to freeze up. So if you have to go outside tomorrow morning, definitely watch your step. In Toms River, I'm Ted Greenberg, News 4 New York.
Students at Wake Forest University didn't waste any time getting out to play in the snow and the ice that fell on the campus in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Dozens of students, they found a good downhill slope on campus to test out their sleds. And since dorm rooms generally don't come with a sled, they had to improvise. We saw sheep pans, cardboard, even mattresses used as sleds today, out there having some fun.
Everything's fair game when you're in college, right?
My
You're not
parents
thinking
told me
about later.
stories of doing that in stores. You take the cafeteria.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
go down the hill at UConn. Yeah, well, we've seen most of the snow wrap up for the evening, but you just heard Ted talking about the freezing rain. That is going to be the concern for the rest of the night tonight. And I'll show you the radar, but the radar isn't even able to pick this up. This is so fine. It's kind of like a light mist or drizzle, but with temperatures down at the ground below freezing, it is turning to ice pretty quickly. So we've got quite a few freezing rain reports around the area. There they are, including in the city, through Connecticut, and down over southern New Jersey. But I want to put a bow on some of these snowfall totals. I mean, 10 to 15 inches around the 5 boroughs. Washington Heights leading the way at 14.9. You had 13.5 in Fordham. Through the Hudson Valley, some new numbers in Hopewell Junction with 1.5 feet of snow. That number just coming in. And then through northern New Jersey, 16 to 17 inches in Bergen, Passaic, Morris, and Sussex County. So huge numbers there. Maybe a few flurries early tomorrow morning, but the cold is going to be the story. Temperatures go the wrong direction this week. Look at those early morning temperatures. We're going to be in the single digits, wind chills below 0. So as cold as it has been, it is getting colder over the next week.
Okay, doesn't help with the cleanup.
Nope.
Matt, thank you so much. And remember, you can stay with Storm Team 4. Download the free NBC4 New York app. Get any alerts sent straight to your phone or your device. You can also scan the QR code here on your screen to track the storm.
And again, you heard what Matt said. We have a programming note because of it, because the storm and the impact it could have on travel as we start the work week. So today in New York will begin a half hour earlier at 4 a.m. But to all the crews and the teams that started today at 5:30 a.m., Storm Team 4, reporters, photographers, anchors, the control room, the staff, thank you for a job well done.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today. Sports Final with Bruce Beck is coming up next. Take it away, Bruce.
Thanks very much, Rana and David. And hello again, everyone. Welcome to the show after dealing with the snow. Super Bowl 60 is set. And how unlikely is this matchup in Santa Clara? The Patriots were 4-13 last year and fired their head coach. The Seahawks were 10-7 but missed the playoffs. And Seattle reaches pro football's ultimate game with former Jets quarterback Sam Darnold. That's another low blow to Gang Green. As far as the head coaches are concerned, New England's leader Mike Vrabel looks to become the first man to win the Super Bowl as a player and a coach with the same franchise. Seattle's main man, Mike McDonald, is the third youngest coach to lead a team to pro football's ultimate game. More on the matchup in just a few minutes, and we'll do hot stove baseball tonight and some college and pro hoops too. But first, let's see how the two teams got to Santa Clara as we present tonight's Sports Final headlines. Seattle's best. Sam Darnold and the Seahawks outduel Matthew Stafford and the Rams 31-27 on their home turf. Yes, after 8 years, Sam Darnold is going to the Super Bowl. Patriot games for the 12th time in team history. The Patriots are going to the big game. Drake May made enough key plays to secure a 10-7 victory over the Broncos in the snow in Denver. They'll chase a 7th Vince Lombardi trophy. The Seahawks have been installed as 4-point favorites 2 weeks from tonight on NBC. The two teams combined for a record of 33-6 this year. They have both been absolutely dominant. Travel was extremely difficult tonight, but we are thrilled to have John Jastrzemski join us remotely from somewhere in the greater New York area. JJ is the host of the New York podcast on the Ringer Podcast Network. John, how do you think Jets fans like Joe Beningo and Evan Roberts are handling this Sam Darnold story tonight?
Well, Bruce, you know a whole lot of Jet fans. I know a whole lot of Jet fans. Let's call it like it is. This Super Bowl in 2 weeks, Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara, it's your worst nightmare. And it's your worst nightmare because one of two things is going to be the case. Either the New England Patriots, who look dead as a franchise, the end of Brady, the end of Belichick, 2 years after the fact, are back in the Super Bowl with Mike Vrabel and Drake May, and they're holding up the Lombardi trophy, and it's more of the same. Or it's the former Golden Boy, the former number 3 pick, the guy at quarterback who was supposed to be the chosen one for the Jets and has bounced around from team to team. It could be Sam Darnold holding up the Lombardi trophy. So pick your poison, Bruce. If you're a Jet fan, it's not ideal.
Darnold was 25 for 36 today, 3 touchdown passes, no picks, 346 yards. JJ, he handled himself beautifully in the post-game interviews because he didn't go with, well, you finally got there, you finally did it. He was just talking about his teammates. I thought he handled it extremely well.
Listen, we know this from Sam Darnold from his time when he was a New York Jet. He's a first-class individual through and through. And his story is one of the great quarterback renaissances in the history of the NFL. And it's not just the New York Jets. Let's acknowledge a couple of things here. He went to the Carolina Panthers. They said sayonara. Then last year, he goes and wins 14 games with the Minnesota Vikings. They're playing for the 1 seed. They lose that game. They play the Rams in the wild card game. They lose that game. The Vikings say, you know what? We're moving on. We're giving J.J. McCarthy the job. Darnold didn't sulk. He finds his way to Seattle, and now he's playing in the Super Bowl and against the soon-to-be MVP and Matthew Stafford, Bruce, because Matthew Stafford's going to win the MVP award. Sam Darnold was mano-a-mano, matching him score for score for score. This was not a case of the Seattle Seahawks and their run game and their defense and their coaching carrying Sam Darnold to the Super Bowl. Sam Darnold is the reason the Seattle Seahawks are going back to the Super Bowl.
Is Jackson Smith-Njigba one of the best receivers in the game today, JJ?
Oh, he sure is. He's flat out unguardable. I don't know what the Rams were doing at the end of the first half, leaving him wide open when he's by far and away a top 5 wide receiver. And, Bruce, I don't want to go down the road of what could have been, and I know this might be already a tough enough night for Jet fans. Mr. Smith-Njigba would have looked pretty good in green and white with his Ohio State teammate, Garrett Wilson. Oh, by the way, a player the Jets could have selected a couple of years ago in the NFL draft. Instead, they opted for Will McDonald. Smith-Njigba is the real deal. He's a top 5 receiver in the sport, and he made some spectacular plays throughout the 4 quarters of action.
The game's big play, that muff punt by the Rams, and Seattle capitalized. I mean, I never saw the Rams getting over the hump today. They missed too many opportunities, but that play, JJ, early in the second half, I thought set a little bit of a tone where they were going to have to play catch up every time the other team scored. They were going to have to try to score.
Bruce, it was an absolute killer. And if you follow the Rams all season long, their special teams have been an Achilles heel. So sure enough, in the biggest game of the year, their special teams go and let them down. And nobody loves Sean McVay more than me. I think he's a phenomenal, phenomenal head coach. I don't think Sean McVay had a great day. I didn't like the way the Rams handled the end of the first half. They left Seattle way too much time on the clock. They did not run the ball at the end of the half when they could have made sure Seattle doesn't touch it. Instead, Seattle goes right down the field, scores a touchdown. There was a situation in which the Rams scored. They could have gone for 2. That would have made it a 3-point game if they got the 2, and they wouldn't have been in a situation in the fourth quarter on 4th and 3 where they had to go for it late in the game. And then you could look at the time management and the way the timeouts were used. They burned the timeout on a play they just should have challenged, the Cooper Kupp first down. So to me, in watching this game over 4 quarters, we could talk about that muff on special teams. Yeah, the Rams special teams leave a lot to be desired. But for a guy who is a primo NFL head coach, I thought Sean McVay had a very rough day.
Let's go to New England. Denver weren't many points this game, only 17 total. But this is the way Mike Vrabel likes to play football. The elements were perfect for him in every way. This was New England football weather, same as Denver. What about Vrabel and the job he's done quickly?
Well, he's going to win Coach of the Year, there's no doubt. And he's a guy that wants to win in a variety of different ways. Well, the Patriots won a game in which they did absolutely nothing on offense, but they won because their defense, their coaching, their game plan as spot on, as top-notch as it gets. And, Bruce, that's how you go from being a 4-win team and being in the abyss to the following year finding your way to the Super Bowl.
Broncos miscues. I made a note of these, JJ. That 4th and 1 where it could have been 10-zip. The fumble, 2 missed field goals, the interception. You can't play a championship game like that and expect to walk away and win.
Especially, Bruce, when you are playing with a backup quarterback. And Denver was clearly behind the 8 ball in this game, not having their starting quarterback in Bo Nix. They had to have Jared Stidham in the fold. And you are 1,000% right. Listen, I'm always team go for it. You know this, Bruce. I'm new age. I'm analytics. I like the idea of going for it. You got a backup quarterback. You got a chance to go up 2 scores. Don't get cute. Kick the ball. Take the points. That's an absolute no-brainer. And that fumble, that was the biggest play in the game because Denver's defense was exemplary. Drake May, who was an MVP candidate, did very little in this game, and that only continued as the elements got worse and worse and worse in the Mile High City. But that fumble by Stidham ended up being a 7-point swing in the game, and you give up 3 by going for it when you should have taken the field goal, and then you go and gift wrap the Patriots a touchdown. You can't win a championship game with a backup quarterback if that's going to be the script.
Now, I know that you're not throwing bouquets at Drake May here because he only threw for 86 yards. But he ran for 65, JJ. He ran for a touchdown. He ran for a key first down late in the ball game. He did what you have to do, which is win, lead your team there. And that's where he deserves a lot of credit in my mind.
Listen, not going to fight you on that. I'm just saying, Bruce, from a standpoint of the eye-popping, jaw-dropping numbers that Drake May put up in the regular season, he hasn't done that in the postseason. And you know what? Who cares? They're going to the Super Bowl. This is a second-year starting quarterback. He's the first second-year starting quarterback, Bruce, to go to the Super Bowl since a guy by the name of Dan Marino, for goodness sakes. So there are a lot of folks in New England who are A-okay with these games going a certain script, and they're hopeful that in 2 weeks it can go the exact same way. Drake May doing enough with his legs, maybe a couple of big plays within the passing game, and they find a way to win. And their defense has been off the charts in each of these 3 games.
And you know who else is hopeful tonight, JJ? It's the New York Football Giants, believing that John Harbaugh can do what Mike Vrabel did with a 4-13 team and the chance to turn them around. What about the Harbaugh introduction this week? How magnificent was it in your mind? I know you don't get blown away with winning the press conference, but didn't he get off to a pretty good start?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, just the idea of him holding up that giant helmet. You had me at hello, Bruce, to quote the great Renee Zellweger and Jerry Maguire. You had me at hello. And what I love about John Harbaugh coming in here, it's all ball. It's no nonsense. He said it multiple times throughout his presser. It's about football. And if you're not about football, you're not going to be a part of this thing. Like,
you gotta
I'm
love
hearing
it,
that.
right? You gotta love it.
I want to run through a brick wall for John Harbaugh when he says that. And listen, this is a giant program that's dying for credibility. They're dying for stability. They're going to get that from this head coach. I don't know if you're going to get the Mike Vrabel turnaround in year 1, where next year at this time, you and I are talking about the Giants going to the Super Bowl on a snowy January night. Let's hope that's the case. But that being said, Bruce, I think they're in great hands. I think the Giants next year will be a winning team and a playoff team. You could take that to the bank.
So quickly, where does this leave Aaron Glenn and the Jets after this championship Sunday?
Listen, I'm concerned about the state of affairs, not only because year 1 was a nightmare for Aaron Glenn, but the staff turnover. You know, in one way you could look at it and say, all right, I admire Aaron Glenn for acknowledging that a whole lot of things have got to be different in Jetland. That's great. My counter is, with all of the smoke and all of the trouble, people speculating about whether or not Aaron Glenn would be a one-and-done head coach. Are you dying to go and work for that Jets staff at the moment? The fact that your offensive coordinator may not be calling the plays next year, it's just a lot of troubling signs. He's going to get a second year. They have a lot of draft capital to go and improve the football team. But can I sit here with confidence and tell you I feel great about the overall vibe within the New York Jets, especially knowing, Bruce, that the Patriots are not going anywhere, and there's a guy by the name of Josh Allen who's going to be in your division. You kind of stack behind the 8 ball.
JJ's going to stick around for another segment. We'll talk baseball, Knicks, and Rick Pitino at St. John's, too. Whatever else is hot in New York on this blustery Sunday in and around the Big Apple. But first, it's time for the Spectrum Speedy Connection of the Week. and on Monday night against Miami. This thrilling touchdown run, brilliant run by Fernando Mendoza on 4th down, helped Indiana cap a perfect season and a national championship. A run for the ages. What a story authored by Kurt Signetti and the Hoosiers. The Speedy Connection is presented by Spectrum. It's internet, mobile, and streaming TV, all from one place. It's only everything.
Sports Final is presented by Spectrum. It's internet, mobile, and streaming TV, all from one place. It's only everything.
Do you want free internet? Forever? You got it. Really. We mean it. Spectrum is offering free fiber-powered internet forever. Want it? Just call this number and switch 4 mobile lines to Spectrum for a lifetime of internet you never pay for. It's not a trial. It's an unprecedented offer. So we'll say it again. Free fiber-powered internet forever. Have you called yet? Because your internet is forever. But this ad ends now.
So New York Lottery's new extra multiplier ticket multiplies your winnings up to 100 times.
I won.
What are you gonna do with all those Benjamins?
For Ben.
Oh. Great form, Benjamin. Benjamin, tip.
Play New York Lottery's extra multiplier scratch-off games for chances to multiply your Benjamins between 10 and 100 times. Prizes up to $3 million.
I can't wait to spend each and every one of you.
Think switching to T-Mobile's a whole complicated thing? Nah. It's easy.
Switch to T-Mobile and unlock savings that are built to last. With T-Mobile's Better Value Plan, you can save over $1,000 a year versus Verizon and AT&T. Save on streaming, satellite, and more benefits that they leave out.
I get all the VIP perks. Don't mind if I do.
For a limited time, get our most value pack plan ever. Plus, switch right now and we'll even pay off your old phone up to $800.
Stay chillin', just switching.
Hi, Dave.
I never realized how much that junk was bothering me until it was gone.
It's a clean, happy feeling.
What should I do with all this open space now?
It's up to you, Dave. Just imagine the possibilities. Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
After a truck hit me, my attorneys now at the Barnes firm got me $5 million. 5 times more than insurance offered.
What's your case really worth? Call now and find out.
Call 1-800-8-billion.
Live from Studio 3B in Rockefeller Center, you're watching Sports Final on NBC4 New York. Here's your host, Bruce Beck.
What a week in New York baseball as the Yankees finally signed Bellinger, a move they had to make. And the Mets continue to solidify a roster that the fans can be excited about. So much for David Stearns being clueless. This team looks suddenly strong. John Jastrzebski rejoins me for a little hot stove first. John, could this Mets roster be better than last year?
Potentially, Bruce. Yes, I think there are some questions, specifically in the back end of the bullpen, where I'm still upset about the fact that Edwin Diaz is a Los Angeles Dodger. But you look at the rotation, they're going to be significantly improved. Having a full season of Nolan McLean and now adding Freddie Peralta, 200-plus strikeouts each of the last 3 years, a guy who takes the ball every 5th day. The Mets missed the postseason a year ago and choked down the stretch because they had no answers in their pitching department. They now have a bona fide 1-2 punch. All of the other guys should fit into place. Starting pitching is going to be much improved. The lineup has a chance to be more balanced and has a chance to be deeper than what it was a year ago. And I love the moves that were made. I love Bo Bichette. I think he's a gamer. He could play for my team any day of the week. Jorge Polanco is a winning player. We'll see if he can handle the transition of playing first base. And they rolled the dice properly with Luis Robert. The question is durability. All 3 of those players, there's questions about how much they are going to play. The 2 guys they let go, and Brandon Nimmo and Pete Alonso, play every day. If the Mets get durability from their rotation and their lineup, they'll be a better team than what they were a year ago.
Bichette is a right-handed hitter who is one of the best in the game. I mean, he was second to Judge this past year in batting average. He went .311. He is clutch with runners in scoring position. That's what I like best about him, JJ. He was the best in the majors last year in batting average with runners in scoring position, and you saw what he did in the World Series. So they're getting a guy at age 27, he'll be 28 in March, who's really in his prime if you're right, he stays healthy.
Bruce, I know I'm a new age guy. I'm still a sucker for batting average, baby. I love it. I love the idea that Bo Bichette puts the ball in play and knows how to approach certain situations. A runner on second base, a runner on third in less than 2 outs. To me, he's the perfect guy to hit behind Juan Soto. Now, you had a really good one in Pete Alonso a year ago. And I know it's a major bummer for a whole lot of Met fans that he's not going to be back on this team. But as far as a pivot is concerned, the pivot of Bo Bichette makes so much more sense to me than the idea of adding a guy like Kyle Tucker and having two $50 million outfielders. Both who are left-handed. Bichette, I think, will seamlessly move to third base. I think you'll see a lot of big hits. The gamer that he was with the Toronto Blue Jays, I expect to be the case for days, weeks, months, and years for the New York Mets. I can't get enough of this move.
Bellinger back to the Yankees, 5 for $162.5 million. I think they had to do this deal. I think this gives them a chance. Your thoughts?
It's an absolute no-brainer. You talk about a match made in heaven. Cody Bellinger and the New York Yankees are a match made in heaven. The Yankees need Cody Bellinger and what he provides as far as his athleticism, as far as his ability to hit in the clutch. He's got the important job of hitting behind Aaron Judge, and you know his defense is going to be top-notch. There's no question about Bellinger and whether or not he can handle the bright lights and the big stage of playing in New York and wearing the Yankee pinstripes. You're absolutely right. It's a move that had to happen. The problem I have with the Yankee offseason is that it seems like it's status quo. And they played the Toronto Blue Jays a year ago. And, Bruce, we watched that 4-game ALDS. The Yankees were whooped. They were thoroughly outclassed. I don't know how just bringing back Cody Bellinger closes the gap within the Blue Jays. And I don't think it's major monumentous moves for the Yankees, but bullpen arms, adding another starter, fringe starter if that, and finding a leadoff hitter. I love Trent Grisham. I'm glad he's back. He's not a leadoff hitter. Can the Yankees get a legit leadoff hitter to hit in front of Aaron Judge? Those moves on the margin, if they make them, then we're talking about a team that can find themselves back in the World Series.
Let's jump to the Knicks, who won yesterday over Philly, 112-109. Philly's playing better lately. Embiid looks like his old self. But the story really is Karl Anthony Towns. After the Knicks went 2-9 in that 11-game stretch, everyone started talking about a possible trade again. What do you think about Towns? Is he really on the trading block? And how much would you like to keep him, or how much would you like to maybe move him?
For me, it's pretty simple, Bruce. Unless a certain player by the name of Giannis is going to be Giannis, and it's going to take a whole lot of lighting candles and a whole lot of prayers to get Giannis and the Knicks to find a way to come to terms, because the Knicks don't have the biggest offer and the most amount of draft picks and anything that Milwaukee would be looking for. I think you're selling low on Cat. He's not played great this year. He's been uncomfortable and disjointed. The Karl Anthony Towns experience with the shot selection, trying to dribble from half court, the silly fouls. He fouled out in the game Saturday against the Sixers. It's going to drive Knicks fans insane. But the idea of trading him for like Jeremy Grant and Drew Holiday, to me, if that's the trade you're making, you're selling 50 cents on the dollar. You made a coaching change with the idea of getting this team over the top. I am not trading Karl Anthony Towns. I'm seeing if I could get myself to the NBA Finals. I'm making moves on the margins. Right. I'm not making an earth-shattering move.
Jaren Jackson Jr. was another guy that was being mentioned briefly. All right, let's get to St. John's. The Johnnies are charging. I think they'll be in the top 25 this week. Rick Pitino gets win number 900, only the 4th coach in NCAA basketball history. Hey, JJ. They're always better in January than they are in December, and they're always better in March than they are in January.
That's a Pitino team. You know it better than anybody, Bruce. That's the calling card from the days at Providence to Kentucky to Louisville. They are going to progress as the season goes along. They have found some offensive answers. They have found far more fluidity within their offense, and they're starting to rack the wins. And You know, you had the father-son dynamic there on full display. You know, Richard didn't want to be win number 900, but now it's a celebration in the Pitino household. And Rick knows this better than anybody. There are bigger fish to fry. Monstrous games coming up with the UConn Huskies, who are kind of the measuring stick. St. John's answered that test beautifully a year ago. UConn is better. We'll see what St. John's has in store that Friday before the Super Bowl.
Johnnies have won 6 in a row. They're 15-5. Congratulations to Rick on number 900. JJ, thanks very much for staying up late and giving us some great insight. We really appreciate it.
Bruce, anytime. Enjoy the shoveling.
That's John Jastrzebski, who hosts the New York podcast and also is a regular in SNY. The Syracuse University grad has been a staple in this market since joining WFAN Radio in August of 2011. Wow, the years have gone by quickly, JJ. We're back in just a few moments.
Be My Valentine. Diamond hearts just $79. Half-carat diamond hearts $199. 2-carat U&I pendants $899. 5-carat tennis bracelets $899. 1-carat natural studs $349. All guaranteed to appraise for double. The Jewelry Exchange Hackensack.
Traction that counts. Warmth on demand. Comfort that expands. Welcome to the Genesis GB70 and GB80.
Lease the GB70 for $349 or GB80 for $399 per month. Exclusively at your tri-state Genesis retailers.
At Nickelodeon Universe, it's non-stop Nickelodeon. Meet your favorite characters. Watch a live show. Go for a spin. Scream. Twirl. Roll. Flip. And fly on all the rides across Nickelodeon Universe. Bring your family, your friends, and all your ninja moves. It's time for the slime of your life at Nickelodeon Universe.
Jewelry perfect for Valentine's. The Jewelry Exchange has 1-carat diamond hearts $249, 2-carat U&I pendants $899, 1-carat solitaires $299, 2-carat $699, 1-carat studs $299. Buy factory direct and save. The Jewelry Exchange Hackensack.
Promotional considerations for Sports Final provided by Del Frisco's Double Eagle Steakhouse. Del Frisco's, great steaks and magnificent lobster.
Nissan trucks and SUVs are built for next-level adventure. Too much gear? Dirt? Rock? Sand? Get in a Nissan and feel unstoppable. Get 0% APR on select SUVs for well-qualified buyers.
They have been the best in the world. Is this the gold medal run? And this game underway.
So strong, so efficient.
Here comes Higgins.
She's got so much strength and power.
Everybody up out of their seats.
There's that physicality we're talking about.
The Winter Olympics, opening ceremony February 6th. Brought to you locally on NBC4 New York by Norwegian Cruise Line. It's different out here.
You just get more when you bundle and save at Bob's. So when you bundle our Consumer Reports recommended Treasure mattress with Power Bob Elite adjustable base with multiple features and hundreds of 5-star reviews, you get more relaxation, more pressure relief, more restful nights, and more energized mornings. I said, and more energized mornings. Every single time.
Oh my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
Jackson, you were the #1 pick to a legendary franchise. You've got the swagger and the energy, but what do Big Blue fans really need to know about you?
That I support Kier Auto Insurance.
Is that because they keep giving better service and lower rates?
Andrea, even a new guy like me knows that staying with your old car insurance, even when the rates go up every single year, means that you need to join the Kier.
Maybe I should shop around.
Why do you think I'm here?
Kier Auto Insurance. Drive well.
Welcome to Paradise, Valencia Grand, Florida's premium 55-plus living by GL Homes. Live in ultimate luxury with supreme amenities and the latest home designs from $1.1 to $2.5 million. Elevate your life. Valencia Grand in Boynton Beach, a prime South Florida location. Now selling our gorgeous, fully furnished, decorated models. Hurry in. Plan your visit today at explorevalencia.com.
Nissan trucks and SUVs are built for next-level adventure. Too much gear? Dirt? Rock? Sand? Get in a Nissan and feel unstoppable. Now get up to $5,000 customer cash on select new models.
Promotional consideration provided by Citizen Eco Drive watches. Sustainably powered by any light. Never needs a battery. Better starts now.
We've seen the Seahawks and Patriots in the Super Bowl on NBC before. Super Bowl 49 in Arizona. I was there and remember it well. The Butler did it. Malcolm Butler's game-clinching interception helped deliver Brady and Belichick their 5th of 6 Super Bowl titles. So let the hype and hoopla begin again.
What is it that makes an SUV extraordinary? Well, hang on, Parker. What are you doing?
Is it the capability to tackle absurd obstacles?
Oh, now what?
Is it being stylish and techy enough? What about putting safety first?
Okay, that's smart.
What if it's all of that and more?
Well, it's got to be the all-new Hyundai Palisade.
Now, lease a Hyundai Palisade SE for $329 a month or get 3.99% APR for 60 months. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
Not all F words are bad. Some are great, like fast, free, fiber for 4 months. Switch to Optimum Fiber for as low as $25 a month. Plus, you can get 4 months free, HBO Max included for 1 full year, and a 5-year price lock. Experience the fastest, most reliable, and most consistent internet speeds. Get Optimum Fiber Internet now for just $25 a month. Call 888-4-OPTIMUM or visit optimum.com/free today.
Attention accident victims. If you were injured tripping on a broken sidewalk in the city of New York, call 1-800-LAW-2133 to hire a law firm experienced in handling multi-million-dollar accident cases. Your sidewalk trip and fall case may be worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. Call 1-800-LAW-2133. If you fell on a broken sidewalk and have broken bones, surgery with pins, plates, screws, or rods, neck or back surgery, or other serious injuries, call 1-800-LAW-2133 now.
Hi everyone, I'm NBC journalist Chase Kane, and I'm excited to be joined by my very accomplished co-host. He made history by becoming the first openly gay man to compete for Team USA in a Winter Olympics in 2018. That's where he earned a bronze medal in the figure skating team event. He was named one of Time Magazine's 100 most influential people, and he won Dancing with the Stars. He is none other than Adam Rippon.
This is my new Favorite Olympian, where you will get to know all of Team USA's brightest stars and the causes they're fighting for. My new Favorite Olympian is brought to you by Acura, proud partner of Team USA.
We have some terrific stories for you about some of the best athletes Team USA has to offer, like figure skater Amber Glenn, who has found that the key to her success on the ice lies in being herself.
And hockey star Charlie McAvoy, who shares the origins of his incredible work ethic.
But first, Adam, I have to ask you, when you were training for and competing in the Olympics, how in tune were you with your body?
I mean, I think I was personally completely out of tune with my body.
Still did pretty well.
But as an athlete, you're like always wondering how everything is going. And now, like in hindsight, I realize I was in tune.
And that's the same way that bobsledder Kaylee Humphries felt. She knows her body so well. That's why she's won 3 Olympic gold medals so far in her career. But when she decided that it was time to start a family, that all started to change. After years of being known as Olympic champion, Kaylee wanted to add mom to her resume. So she and her husband started the process of trying for a baby, something they thought would be pretty straightforward.
Just minus the condom and you're fine.
But after years of trying with no positive pregnancy test, it was becoming clear that it wasn't fine.
We just assumed it was stress, that the timing was off, ovulation was off. It could have been anything.
It wasn't until Kaylee went in to check a completely unrelated issue that she learned why.
I I had a routine hip MRI for some sport imaging. That's when they found the endometriosis.
Kaylee was diagnosed with stage 4 endometriosis, which was blocking her fallopian tubes, putting her at higher risk for ectopic pregnancies. That's a potentially deadly condition in which a fertilized egg attaches outside the uterus.
She knew that in order to become a mom, she would need to go through IVF, short for in vitro fertilization. So Kaylee and her husband went through nearly 3 years undergoing treatment to try to get pregnant, all while competing at an elite level.
It was hell. I'm not young, and I definitely put off becoming a parent selfishly because I wanted to focus on my career.
Kaylee was 37 when she and her husband Travis decided to go all in on IVF, but they quickly learned that IVF is not a magic wand. It would take an enormous toll on the couple, physically, emotionally, and financially.
Kaylee says the first round of IVF alone cost $15,000, half of her yearly stipend for being a national team athlete.
We started looking into what that would mean, how that would go, where we were going to start this process, insurance, is it covered, is it not covered, all of the investigation parts that we can look into.
And obviously our story is a little bit unique because she was going through fertility treatments while she was still competing.
That's Travis, Kaylee's husband. He says once they knew they'd need IVF, winning competitions became even more important because they needed prize money to pay for their fertility treatments.
In order to effectively financially put us in a position to do it, she just had to go out and win a world championship medal. Now, mind you, she had just won an Olympic gold medal, but that was last year. This is this year. And so the whole season was do well enough so we can afford to try to have a baby, which is a really, really weird thing to admit that that's what we were doing. But at the end of the day, that's what we're doing.
And now, just for a little perspective, during this time, while she's juggling injections and fluctuating hormones and ultrasounds, Kaylee was still competing, and not just competing, she was crushing it. Here's what her husband remembers.
In January, the year after the games was, okay, we have to start this medicine. We're reading the instructions and watching the YouTube video on how do you do this medicine, and you jab it in her butt, and you're going, did we do that right? Was it the right one? Was it the right amount? What's it going to do? What's it not going to do? And so that was the one that really kicked her into the chemical menopause. And so then all of a sudden we'll be sitting there. We were in Latvia at that time, and she would just start having hot flashes at the dinner table.
I'm trying to compete against 22-year-olds in the world's best, having full hot flashes. I'm minus 40 outside. I'm taking my jacket off. I'm sweating, trying to walk tracks and compete, and just, we all know, hormones fluctuate, and now it's huge extremes, and I hadn't ever competed with that happening to that extreme.
And this is Kaylee Humphries of the USA. First time ever racing in Sigulda.
And then, of course, that week she goes out and sets a track record in monobob.
She needs to be clean out of 15 over the brow. She is cleaner. She's cleaner than anybody. So third best speed. Again, 900s away and a new track record, 52.78.
Kaylee finished first overall in the International Bobsleigh and Skeleton Federation's 2023 rankings for women's monobob, scoring her 100th podium finish in a major international bobsled competition.
We went from 900s in front to 2100s in front. That is a very happy Kaylee Humphries.
I think sport and the IVF process, they mimic each other. The tools you need to get through one are the exact tools you need to become and get through an Olympics and be the best in the others. At the same point, it was hard to go through this and have my body respond every single time in sport and have it not respond going through the IVF process.
After a break to compete in 2023, Kaylee went through 3 back-to-back embryo transfers, all of which failed. After switching doctors and going through a 4th transfer, Kaylee and her husband finally got what they'd been hoping for after 3 years of treatments, a positive pregnancy test.
It was long, it was hard. Whether it's IVF, IUI, it's not as simple as you just put an embryo in and it takes. But we got there in the end, and my son is my world now.
Okay, I looked at there was nothing, and I'm like, that's why I know. I'm very always my presser, so okay.
Yeah.
I think what it really did was it really it put into perspective what matters, and not that other things don't matter, and not that, you know, her going out and winning hopefully 2 more golds in Italy doesn't matter. All that stuff still matters. It's a constant moment that we get to cherish, whether her racing goes good, bad, or indifferent. We get to be together as a family, and that's the most important part.
So, which is harder, being a mom or being an Olympian?
They're equally as hard for very different reasons. Being an Olympian, there's the physical aspect where you're depleted physically from like workouts and training, and then having to perform when the world is watching and not making mistakes and trying to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect with a toddler, but now you're trying to keep a kid alive, and you got to make sure that they're fed and they're always on the go, and you're gonna have great days, you're gonna have rock bottom days. Being able to be both, being able to live out my dreams of both, I am forever grateful to have that title. And it's the same when it comes to being an Olympian, being an Olympic champion. It's something that I worked really hard for, that I'm very proud of in a very different way. And so both are an honor, and being a mom's awesome. It rocks.
Every day I saw him at work, he's putting everything he has into that. So I knew I owed it to him to put everything I had into hockey. Just how selfless that was, you know, looking back on it now and having that perspective, how tired he must have been, you know, from working all day, and then just taking me to give me the opportunity to go and pay for ice time for me. You know, he had bigger dreams for me, that he wanted more for me than just to, you know, take over McAvoy Plumbing and Heating.
My new favorite Olympian is brought to you by Acura, proud partner of Team USA. Listen to My New Favorite Olympian on Apple Podcasts.
Acura, proud partner of Team USA.
Ragtime is the most celebrated musical of the year. The show of the moment. A story that goes straight to the heart. Experience everything Broadway can be at the city's most iconic theater. Ragtime at Lincoln Center Theater. Get your tickets now.
Welcome back. The type of person that someone is can say a lot about how they grew up. So Adam, I'm wondering, how did your family, especially your mom, mold you into the athlete that you became?
I mean, my mom is one of the most determined people I've ever met in my entire life. And I think my mom's determination in making anything happen, my mom truly could, she's 5'2", could move a mountain. And I think that determination is something that I took with me as an athlete to achieve the things that I wanted to do in sport.
Now, maybe the most important question, Adam, is how much do you know about plumbing?
Well, actually, I don't know anything about it.
Well, that's great, because you're about to learn from a Boston Bruins player and Team USA hockey star, Charlie McAvoy. Plumbing was his family business, and working with his dad when he was young is what gave him the blueprint for success that he still uses today.
USA hockey defenseman Charlie McAvoy is the son of Charles McAvoy Sr., who has more than 30 years of experience running a 4-generation plumbing business. Think back-to-back hockey games are grueling? Not Charlie McAvoy.
No, you think playing hockey for the Boston Bruins is tough? Try plumbing.
I'd rather be playing hockey every day of the week.
Charles didn't just teach his son the value of hard work, he also taught him the importance of giving back. And now, how to be a father himself.
Every day I saw him at work, he's putting everything he has into that. So I knew I owed it to him to put everything I had into hockey the same way.
Charles never complained about his job, no matter how exhausted he was.
He was just busy. Everything, coming right from work to taking me to hockey. Just how selfless that was, looking back on it now and having that perspective, how tired he must have been, from working all day, and then just taking me to give me the opportunity to go and pay for ice time for me.
Charles was determined to give his son the opportunities he never had.
Growing up, Charles was a promising hockey player himself, but hockey is an expensive sport, so he didn't have the opportunity to keep playing after high school.
Instead of pursuing professional hockey, Charles found himself working on the plumbing at the houses of the New York Rangers players he watched compete at Madison Square Garden.
My brother Mike and I, we played so much hockey. We if we weren't playing street hockey or roller hockey, we were at the rink skating and playing hockey. The opportunity was probably there, but the finances weren't always there. We were the youngest. I'm the youngest of 7, and my brother was a year older than me. And travel hockey was not cheap back then, and the hours were much different. The ice slots were not available as they are now. So we stuck with it as long as we could, but my dad just couldn't swing it. So I didn't get that opportunity, and I wanted to make sure that Charlie and his sisters had that opportunity to play and give it their best.
So Charles had his son on the ice at 3 years old.
Charles also exposed his son to plumbing, but he made it clear that he did not want Charlie to inherit the family business.
My dad, he always told me, he had bigger dreams for me, that he wanted more for me than just to, take over McAvoy Plumbing and Heating.
I think he was too smart to be a plumber. How's that?
I have the utmost respect for him and for plumbers and for people in the trades. But I think he just wanted something different for me. And he would tell me every day to work as hard as I could so I could do something different, which I just respected so much that he implanted that dream for me and, didn't just, sort of sign me up for plumbing and say, hey, this is what you're going to do. But he gave me every opportunity in the world to follow my passions.
The McAvoys would head to the rink at all hours. No hour was too late, since Charles literally had the keys to the rink after doing work at the venue.
And I was converting the whole building from oil to gas and putting in new equipment and gas lines, etc. So they gave me the keys. They said, anytime I want to use it, go. And Charlie was young, and we took full advantage of that. We were probably there every night of the week when he was a little guy.
So while other families were home eating dinner, the McAvoys would skate at the Long Beach Arena where the Rangers used to train.
His skating took off because skating's the whole game, and he just loved getting on the ice. And yeah, I'd get off because I'd be like exhausted from work, and he would just stay out there, and I would just sit and let him do his thing. It was fun.
I don't think we had the crystal ball and would have known, but he did it because he saw that it made me happy and it was something I wanted to do. And there's nothing I can do to repay him for that sacrifice he made.
Charlie might not be able to repay his father for the sacrifices he made, but he is determined to pay it forward in other ways.
Charlie is one of, if not the most charitable players in the NHL.
You have a responsibility to be a part of the community, to give back to the amazing fans here. So it's something that, I learned right away when I got here.
When longtime Bruins captain Zdeno Chara parted ways with the team in 2020, Charlie raised his hand to take over the organization's tradition of delivering Thanksgiving pies to local shelters.
My family comes up, I take them to pie deliveries in the morning. We have some great memories. We got the headgear on and all that, and we're able to make a positive impact on a lot of people on Thanksgiving.
Charlie's charitable efforts extend far beyond Thanksgiving.
When Charlie found out that many first responders were struggling to get access to cancer screenings, he started raising money to get them covered.
They're putting their lives on the line for us, and then oftentimes the healthcare wasn't reciprocated for them. So as soon as you saw it, it was something immediately I wanted to get behind.
And when Charlie heard that local animal shelters were getting overcrowded, he stepped up to help raise awareness about the waived adoption fees, which were offered by the Massachusetts Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals.
And I've just fully understood what it means to have a dog and that kind of love that they give you and how they make you feel. It's irreplaceable.
Charlie was deservedly the Bruins 2025 nominee for the King Clancy Memorial Trophy, which is presented every year to the NHL player who has made a noteworthy humanitarian contribution in their community.
The New Yorker who grew up on Long Island has fully embraced his new home.
I feel like a Bostonian. I love people from Boston. I love our fans. I love the people here. I want to try and do as best I can for them on the ice, off the ice.
Bostonians have become accustomed to seeing Charlie walking around the Boston Children's Hospital, giving out stickers and rubber pucks.
The work that they do and just how selfless they are. The nurses, the doctors, they're all just world class. And when we can go over there and try and put a smile on their face, you always leave there feeling better than you did than when you got there.
He's caring, he's generous, he's loving. But I did want to add that if you flip the switch and you caught him on the ice and you got your head down with the puck, he's going to take care of business.
Charlie is now a father himself.
His son Reese will turn 1 year old just 11 days before the opening ceremony of the 2026 Winter Games.
His childhood will be a little bit different from the one that I had. I don't have a clue how to plumb. I don't even know if that's the tense in which you'd say it. I think he purposely didn't teach me a thing on plumbing. I called him the other day. I'm like, because my faucet was a little off center, and he's trying to walk me through it. And halfway, I just said, "Bring your tools when you come up. I'll have you fix it." He goes, "I'm going to charge you, though." I said, "Go ahead."
But Reese will inherit something much more important from his grandfather.
The foundation and the principles that I have, that my dad gave to me, are certainly what I want to pass on to Reese.
Charlie knows he can always call his father, whether he has a question about plumbing or parenting.
My dad's my best friend. We just have an unbelievable relationship. As we've grown together throughout the years, what it's gone from, I think, from a kid to teenager to now adult, and how it's changed has just been so amazing. So you could tell him I said that.
I think that's what every father wants to hear, That's pretty awesome. That, best friends. He handles himself, and what he's become is just amazing. And this whole life thing has come full circle, and he's going to be a dad. He is a dad, rather, and he's going to be able to do what I tried to do my best for them. And obviously, he is my best friend. I love him so much. He's just a great kid. I've been blessed. I've been absolutely blessed.
Since I came out publicly, I remember being anxious about how the judges would react, even though it's like, well, that's none of your damn business. Like, you're judging me for my skating, not for my personal life. But the amount of support and seeing the pride flags in the audience and things like that made it just out of my head. I don't care. If that's an issue, then obviously there needs to be more people like me, and this needs to happen so we can move past it.
My New Favorite Olympian is brought to you by Acura, proud partner of Team USA. Listen to My New Favorite Olympian on Amazon Music.
So New York Lottery's new extra multiplier ticket multiplies your winnings up to 100 times.
I won.
What are you gonna do with all those Benjamins?
For Ben.
Oh. Great form, Benjamin. Benjamin, tip.
Play New York Lottery's extra multiplier scratch-off games for chances to multiply your Benjamins between 10 and 100 times. Prizes up to $3 million.
I can't wait to spend each and every one of you.
Acura, proud partner of Team USA.
Welcome back. Figure skating can be a thing of beauty and grace. There's something about this, right? And the women in ice skating, they've embraced that for years. From the costumes to the movement on ice, really being an ice princess is what's always been expected of them. And you've seen this up close and personal. So Adam, how would you describe that norm for women in ice skating?
I think when you think of like the norm ice princess look, it's just pretty white dress, shiny crystals, sequins, hair slicked back, perfect makeup. And I think for a while, like when you close your eyes, that's the image that you see of like the person who's going to win Olympic gold.
And Team USA star Amber Glenn is fighting those exact kind of perceptions of female figure skaters and paving a new way forward for all those who want to be themselves and skate how they want to skate. Now let's learn more about how Amber's decision is helping challenge the norms of figure skating and inspiring a new generation.
Growing up, you know, I watched Ice Princess and all of the different movies about like just being so elegant. And what was really hard for me personally was women were expected to be super, super graceful. And then the men, it was just like, you're a soldier. Like the entire time it's just like, like that was the style. Versus if a girl does it and it's not the most elegant, graceful thing in the world, but is really difficult and it's the same way that the guy did it, it's frowned upon. Even as a kid, I think I was like 10 years old, I was told to tone it down because it wasn't graceful.
She wanted to show people how much she loved to be out there. So she would land a jump and she would have this really big, like, you know, face on. They had this feedback session with the judges afterwards. And it kind of broke my heart because a lady told her, don't do that anymore.
Don't smile.
Don't do that big smile anymore.
I was skating to like Live and Let Die and just like old classic or like I Love Rock and Roll. Like I'm not trying to be ladylike, I'm trying to enjoy my sport.
She represents the Dallas Figure Skating Club.
In 2020, Amber competed at the U.S. Figure Skating National Championships in Greensboro, North Carolina. It was her first time at the Nationals since coming out.
Been watching her since she won that junior title back in 2014 at the National Championships. Amber Glenn, now 20 years of age, from Plano, Texas.
And when Amber stepped onto the ice, she saw something she will never forget.
It's my first competition since I came out publicly. And even before I started skating, I almost start crying before I even skate. And then I have one of the most emotional like performances to a point to where I was almost like throwing myself.
Guys, I feel like I'm tearing up. This emotion is tangible. She takes her life experience and her true love for skating and she shares it with us.
I was just so emotional. I was like, I don't care about this. I'm living, and I was just living my life. And it is something I will never forget.
Among the people watching that performance was two-time Winter Olympian Caitlin Weaver.
To see that, I just wept. I just was so in awe of her courage and her unabashed authenticity.
She told us that was the moment that gave her the courage to come out herself.
I watched for the first time pride flags in the audience, something that I thought could never be done. Queer women, there's not many of us in this sport that are visible. And it absolutely inspired me to say, you know what, like, if the kids can do it, you know, then maybe I can do that too.
Wherever Amber went, the flags followed her.
I went to Korea for my first 4 continents, and there was like, I looked really far up and there was someone like in the rafters with a pride flag for me, and I was like, oh my God, even here, like, wow.
You know, it never gets old. It never gets old seeing the pride flags fill the arena. It is a testament to who Amber is as a champion, because she is creating that community for people to be seen, to be themselves.
On the ice, female figure skaters traditionally wear a sequin-covered dress, but Amber often trades the sparkle for power, gliding out in bold, tailored pantsuits that turn heads.
I love it. I think when it fits the music, it fits the story, it is not a question. If I want to wear a pantsuit, I'm going to wear a pantsuit.
It might sound simple, a costume, a pose, a choice of music, but in figure skating, every detail is judged. Unlike most sports, victory isn't determined by a time or a finish line. It's decided by judges. Figure skaters are scored not just on difficulty, but also on presentation, artistry, emotion, even how they embody femininity or masculinity. right down to their costume choices.
Because she's strong and she's muscular. She would used to wear sleeves. If you go back and look at all of her costumes, she would wear long sleeves. Even if it's mesh, she would cover that definition out of fear that she's gonna be judged as being too masculine.
I've heard figure skating be described once as competitive gender performance. It's a dream world in which people have created these ideals on what women should look like and what men should look like. We have 9 judges from around the world who may or may not agree with your quote-unquote lifestyle or your fashion choices or your gender identity or your sexuality. And so it's been unwritten rule to lock it up.
And that's the system Amber is challenging.
Since I came out publicly, I remember being anxious about how the judges would react, even though it's like, well, that's none of your damn business. Like, you're judging me for my skating, not for my personal life. But the amount of support and seeing the pride flags in the audience and things like that made it just out of my head. I don't care. If that's an issue, then obviously there needs to be more people like me, and this needs to happen so we can move past it.
Since coming out, her skating has changed. Bolder, freer, more like herself.
It was always just kind of stick to the typical like ballet positions before I came out versus after I was challenged. I did like hit the road jack, heads will roll. I'm doing Madonna this year, and I did a Janet Jackson last year.
You know, if you watch her skating over the years, you can see a development of her scores moving up as, you know, time goes on as she's improved.
You can see how her programs have evolved. Her favorite example, the cantilever.
It's like this back bend thing that you do when you're moving.
And, of course, the triple axel.
Yeah!
Oh, hello! One of the most technically demanding jumps that involves 3.5 rotations in the air. It's so difficult, only a few women have ever landed it cleanly.
Amber, who is throwing a triple axel and is queer and proud of it on the ice, it just represents yet another way that women are making space for themselves and moving the sport forward in a way.
Winter Olympian Caitlin Weaver says the sport is moving forward slowly and that athletes like Amber are helping lead that change.
There are some gender equity things that are changing within our judging system, where it's not just rewarded for the man to do something and the woman to do something else. We're saying, hey, we can like bridge the divide between these skill sets. That's hard, but it's moving. Yeah, there is change. It's not enough, if I'm honest, but bit by bit, you know.
Thanks for watching My New Favorite Olympian. Listen to My New Favorite Olympian on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And make sure to tune in to watch the world's best compete at the 2026 Milan Cortina Olympics on NBC and Peacock. My New Favorite Olympian is brought to you by Acura, proud partner of Team USA. Listen and follow My New Favorite Olympian on Spotify.